Oh, I'm live. Hello and welcome to another episode. Let's get the theme tune running, shall we? I had a bit of problems going live. So, hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Covers. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It is the first show of 2026. Yes, you heard it here first. The first show of 2026. Excited to be here. If you're watching for the first time, who am I? My name is Daniela Bleckner. I am an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there. I can see that we're not live on Facebook. Let's fix that, shall we? Oh, it's not letting me fix it. So it's all going off today. I'm not sure what's happening. Why? Anyway, if you're on YouTube and LinkedIn, amazing. Thank you so much for watching. So my name is Daniela Bleckner. I'm an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of books. Behind me on the bookshelf are just some of the 350 books that we've published over the last 10 and a bit years now. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard authors so they can have their voices heard and stories shared so they can educate, inspire and empower generations to come. So before I introduce my guests, I'm going to explain the show. If you're new to the show is called Between the Covers. Why are we called Between the Covers? Because it's all about getting up close and personal with those in the writing and publishing industry to find out what goes on between the covers of writing and publishing a book. So let me turn this music down. Who do I have today? Today I am with the awesome and amazing Noel Gordon, who's been working with us for, I think, 6 months, publishing his second book called Alithia and the Dreamcatcher. But first of all, who is Noel? It's not down there. So Noel is a 2-time author. His story is really, really inspiring, actually. He was told he wouldn't live past his teens, suffering, having sickle cell. Also, he was on a BBC documentary called Subnormal. I don't know how many of you have seen that. Again, if it's a very interactive show, so please do throw out your comments. Any questions for Noel as well will be greatly received. He was on a BBC documentary called Subnormal during the 60s and 70s. A lot of young Black children were thrown into these schools and left with literally no education at all. And he has defied all odds. 2-time author. He goes into schools and motivates young children, teaching them or showing them the importance of dreaming big. And this is really the essence of his book, Alithia and the Dreamcatcher. If you're watching, please, I want to see all your emojis going up and down. Please welcome him to this interview. Please do share this out if you find this of value and worth. How can you not? And welcome Noel Gordon to the stage. Hello, Noel. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Excellent. Great.
Yeah.
So you are now a 2-time published author. So this is not your first rodeo, really. So how does it feel, really, to have published this book now and it being out?
I suppose it feels kind of good because I've been working on it for so long, actually having the story done for quite a while. They've seen it come together. It's like I'm just going through the process. But it does feel good to actually see the copies when I receive them and see the illustrations. Yeah.
Brilliant. So let's talk. Sorry, I've lost you. Bear with me a second. While I'm doing that, please do. I did a little introduction to yourself, but can you introduce yourself to our lovely audience today, please? We've got quite a few people watching.
Yeah. So my name is Noel Gordon. I was born in 1966 on an RAF base, Halton Camp, Wendover, Buckinghamshire. And my parents arrived there from Jamaica. Answered the call, help us rebuild, 1960. That's why I was born on RAF base. And there's 9 of us all together. The rest were in Jamaica. The older ones, yeah. One passed. He was 30 when he had a heart condition. Raphael was, but that is 8. Yeah, that is 8 of us. So, and I grew up in a big house, 4-bedroom house in Buckinghamshire, a place called Aylesbury. That was my first actual home with all my brothers and sisters, and they'd leave home one by one and come back every so often. So that's where I grew up with my parents. I had some problems when I was 4. I had my teeth extracted. Well, I went to Stoke Mandeville Hospital, the famous paralytic hospital, dealing with people who are paralyzed and all that, paralytic sports and stuff. So I went there, and they said, "Oh, to take your teeth out." I'm 4, and my dad says he wouldn't sign a consent form. don't blame him, it's only baby teeth. So he left, and my mum said she'll sign it. So I wake up in a bed, full doctors holding me down, give me a blood transfusion. They said to my mum and my dad, I've got sickle cell.
Oh wow.
So that's what I got, give me a blood transfusion. So I'm suspecting I was testing my blood when I was under. They knew about it. It's 1970. Yeah, I'd get over it, but there's a lot of cloak and dagger stuff. Until my parents don't want to live that long. I've got this thing called sickle cell, and I'm not gonna. Like some said teens, some said like 21, some said 12. I'm hearing this as I'm growing up, and the hospital administrator said to my parents, they didn't have much drugs to give a 4-year-old, so that set them. So they were taken back by that. You mean you don't know how much drugs to give a 4-year-old? All that sort of stuff. And they said I had African blood. But what they mean is, if they give me a blood transfusion, they can't give me African blood because they didn't have none. All they had was European blood. So I got through all that, went home, and when I was 6, so we got a school for him to go to. Somebody from the education department saying that I need to be in a special school as a matron. But it never told mum, and it says to my mum that I'm dunce. What it was alluding to, they're putting me in a school for ESN children, educating subnormal from the age of 6.
And that was the actual term they used during the 60s and 70s.
Dunce. Yeah, dunce. It was dunce.
Yes,
that's that. Yeah. Well, the ESN was kept quiet, but it's called a special school.
Yeah.
It's in the documentary Subnormal, a British Scandal, available on BBC iPlayer. They never told the parents that it was actually these special schools. People thought they were better than normal schools because the word special. They didn't realise it was actually a euphemism, meaning that it's something great. They kind of fobbed them off. So they weren't none the wiser until people started asking questions. Well, how come my children are not learning? Why are they falling behind? Then Bernard Cord wrote a book in 1971 about how the system it's called How the West Indian Child is Made Educated Subnormal in the British School System. And parents said to him, you got to publish this book. It was a leaked document from the LEA, ILEA, Inner London Education Authority. I think it was Institute of Education, 1967. It said that there are double the amount of children, Caribbean children, in special schools when you compare that to normal schools. It's like 37%, 28% in special schools compared to 15% in normal schools. And it was a cover-up. So he uncovered all that in 1971.
I mean, it's absolutely heartbreaking when I watched the documentary, just the lies that were told, the just negligence, and also just how disempowered the parents were, because like you said, they weren't told. They thought their children were going to a special school, school for gifted and talented. They had no idea or the power to fight against what was happening. So we've got a few people here. Joanna's saying hello Joanna, fellow author. She's saying, I remember those days. They called them the remedial schools too. Yeah. And so you were put into one of these schools, and was that for the entirety of your primary and secondary education, or how long were you there?
It was a primary school and a secondary school in one building. So I was there for 10 years. And I got beat up when I was 12 by a support worker. All a black bastard. Yeah, but on a brick wall. We're told to go in the evenings. I don't know what her problem was. And I'm on the way into school, on the way into the building, I'm like run behind a brick wall on the way, not running to get away. We're just playing. She runs up to me, pulls me into like that, grabs me, hits me over here repeatedly, calls me a black bastard. So I kick off now, run away from school. They bring me back, and they didn't believe me. I've been there 6 years. This woman's been there maybe 6 months. Luckily for me, I think my mum sensed something was wrong because she phoned me that night. She sometimes ring me. So this is about 8 o'clock in the evening. They put me to bed early. And it's autumn, so it's dark. So they come and get me. I'm crying down the phone to my mum what happened. So they come to school and take me out. And they made an arrangement with the school to try and get me out of there permanently. And that consisted of me going to a secondary school for 2 terms. The problem with that secondary school was where my special school was. So I've got no friends in that area. It's an all-white school. 1,000 kids in that school. I get called the obvious. I got called nigger one day. Very intimidating for a 12-year-old leaving a school under 200 kids going to a school with 1,000 kids. No curriculum. Well, they had a curriculum in that school. They dropped me in the middle. They dropped me right in the deep end. The class they put me in, there was a sheet of paper I had to read. If it was on everyone's desk, I thought, I can't read this. So eventually, they put me into the porter cabin for children who had fallen behind. I was there for 2 terms. I couldn't hack it. I didn't want to go back anymore. I signed up back in my school. and no further attempts were made to get me out. I got bullied by 3 different teachers. My class teacher bullied me because I played truant, did not go to this other school. When they found out, she didn't say to me, "Well, what's going on? You're not happy?"
Yeah,
She
why
said,
you
"Man,
not?
yeah," she goes, "Why did you not go?" So I just went back into my shell like a tortoise and didn't say nothing. I should have told my parents. And I was getting bullied by the deputy headmistress from the age of 12 to 16. We didn't even have music lessons. We didn't, I wasn't taught to spell, I wasn't taught to write. It was very difficult because I didn't know what you don't know what you're supposed to know at that age.
Mm. Of
Just go with
course,
the
you're
flow.
looking for guidance to be told.
Yeah. My
Sure.
parents didn't know. They didn't know either. They did what the system told them to do.
So, I mean, when you look back at your childhood, like, what do you think kept you going during like the hardest moments?
Well, it's probably Jamaican culture, listening to Bob Marley and that sort of stuff. And it's like when see, my brother and sister, but they were at college. She'd moved away from home. She was training to be a nurse. The other one was being a car mechanic. The others were old enough to leave home altogether. But seeing them do that, and then going to this school for 2 terms, I realised that I could learn because my handwriting improved. I had a bank account. My mum took me to TSB Bank where it was, and I signed my signature. And the teller says, "Oh, his handwriting's changed." So she's now saying, it's noticing that my handwriting's changed. So I'm now realising that I'm improving. And my mum's all proud of me, saying I was going to a new school, not realising that I'm not having an easy time.
Mm.
But that experience for 2 terms, I had an epiphany. I realised that I could learn, but it's not going to happen in the school that I'm going to. It's not going to happen
Yeah.
in my special school because there's no curriculum. So from the age of 12, I'm thinking, all right, when I leave school, I'll go to college with my brother and sister. And that's exactly what I did because I knew I wasn't being taught in school. And then
So
it's
is
like,
that gone?
so one
So
day yeah, I was saying to headmaster at one lunchtime, how come we don't do history, science, geography, music lessons? And he looked out the window and he goes, "Oh, we don't do that here." But he knew exactly why he didn't do it because it was a special school. They had no
yeah.
curriculum. It was set up for children who couldn't learn.
Mm. Well, it's set
All,
up
all
to
the,
make you not learn as well.
yeah, exactly. They had nothing in place to move a child from point A to point B. That was just the philosophy back then. And then later on in life, I knew it was all wrong. And I tried to challenge the system. My parents tried, didn't get nowhere. I tried in the 90s, didn't get, in the 90s I wrote to them, didn't get nowhere. And it was 2019, I thought, let me try again. So I wrote another letter to local authority and they replied to me properly, proper response, headed paper. And it was a year later I made contact with Latanya Shannon and done the documentary. So since
Brilliant.
then since then I've just been researching. I'm finding out, reading Bernard Ford's book and looking further into it and realizing that it came out of a thing called eugenics, which is Francis Galton.
Mhm.
He's studied at University College London, UCL. He was a professor, 18 something. And the links go back. He was also cousins with Charles Darwin, Origin of Species. So or even Charles Darwin said the black race is the inferior race and the white race is the superior
According
race. So
to him, yeah.
it all comes out of that. And I realised that Professor Gus John, who was in the documentary, sent me a paper that he wrote. A guy called Sir Cyril Burt. He was taught by Francis Galton. I think he died in the 70s. He was teaching this in teacher training colleges. Like black children are not very intelligent. Black people are not intelligent. Then he taught Hans Eysenck, who's in the documentary. So if you watch the
Mm.
documentary, you'll see it all there. And I was saying that black people in the 70s are saying black children are 12 points behind white kids. So it's all been unraveled now. We've got all the facts now, we've got all the details. We've been campaigning for a public inquiry.
Yeah. And I think that documentary did a lot in terms of really opening people's eyes to it. You know, not only do we have the racism and eugenics that you were talking about, but also just a real disservice to people with actual, educational needs like yourself, being dyslexic. It was almost like double
That's
double the punishment. Hello there, Janet. Sorry. Um, so what did it mean for you? I know we want to get onto the book as well, but I mean,
yeah.
this is also a really big part of your journey and also really inspiring and empowering for everyone, not just for young people, to see like
Mm.
your start and your beginning doesn't determine your end. You've written 2 books, you go into schools, you've written that paper, you've fighting for justice against everything that happened in the 60s and 70s and still continue to. But what did it mean for you to like publicly share your story? How did it feel once you'd actually shared that with everybody nationally?
What it was when I when I made contact with documentary makers, I thought, because I've been trying to get my story out there anyway, and I thought this will give me an opportunity to get it out there. And I made my mind, well, I've got, it has to be done, because lots of people went through it, and the trauma still stays with us, and and we're stigmatized. We feel like we can't talk about it because it's like an embarrassment. But through education, I realized that this was done to us. We didn't do this to ourselves.
Exactly.
So that's why I spoke about it.
It makes me so angry, like being a teacher myself and working with young people as well, especially young people with special educational needs. And I hate that term as well, educational needs. Every single human is capable of learning. It's how you engage with that child or adult. And it makes me so angry to watch and see like how many years of what could have been a really rich education where you thrive and grow and, you know, grow in your confidence and esteem, like completely robbed. So I mean, I saw an interview you did with somebody on TikTok. There's another comment here I'm going to read out, who had also gone through the same thing. And it's like that, you say that trauma stays with you. Do you feel in any way, though, has there been anything that's helped with the healing process for that? Because that is something that I think is an important aspect, having gone through that.
Well, education has helped me, and writing helps. But the problem is when I write stuff, it's like it brings me back to where I was in school, because I wasn't taught how to spell, how to punctuate, grammar, and all that. So I still have issues with punctuation, but new spell checkers and all that. But I still have issues with it. So it reminds me. So whenever I'm writing, it does remind me of the stuff like that. The second guessing myself. But what I realize is I've got good ideas, so I can create stuff.
Exactly.
And I felt driven to do that. And when I did my first degree, I was given a dyslexic tutor once a week.
And then you got some degree pictures in the background there. I can see, Noel. How many degrees you got?
I got a computing degree, information systems from Brunel. And the other one's a postgraduate certificate in education from Middlesex University.
Absolutely fantastic. If you're watching, I want to see those fire emojis going up. Again, it's a testament to the fact that doesn't matter where you start, what you've been told, what you've been taught or not taught, you can achieve whatever you want.
Exactly. It's all what we tell our children.
Exactly.
They told my dad I was dunce. He took it to heart. He thought I was dunce. So he didn't make no effort to work with me. He grew up in Jamaica, and he was quite clever. I think he was the last of 11. So he's thinking, well, if they say I'm dunce, I'm dunce. And he didn't really think to it. He even came to the school. I phoned him up. I phoned him one day after I got punched in the back by a boy of 15. He was 15, this boy was hitting this in the back. I've never been hit like that before. Turns out he had brain damage. So my dad, I've got on the phone, I reverse speak to the operator, and I've given not just the dialing code, but the house number. So my dad comes with my brother, takes one look at him, and he said to his master, this is a school for handicapped children. And his master goes, oh, we don't call them that, we call them slow learners. So we call them slow learners.
It's even worse.
We don't call them that. And my brother says to my dad, you can leave him. He says, what can I do? My hands are tied. So you could see the school wasn't really right for me. But somehow he took it on board that I was dunce. He took me to Jamaica when I was 15, introduced me to my uncle for the first time. He said, this is my last son, Noel, and he's dunce. And I'm thinking, I'm 50. I'm thinking, you really got to tell him that he doesn't know me. But this is the effect he had on him.
Wow.
He was in his 70s before he kind of realised that there's actually nothing wrong with me.
The words are powerful, though, aren't they?
Yeah, it's so powerful. Yeah, especially for Jamaicans. Use that word dunce.
That's it. It's locked in.
Yeah. And they just believe it, line and sinker. They don't think to themselves that the English are going to lie to them. They didn't think like that.
Yeah.
They just accepted what they were told. That's how it was back then.
With your documentary and everything now, challenging the system and exposing the system is doing a lot to change people's thinking, I think. So Mankman is giving you a fire emoji. We've got a fire emoji here from Janet. We've got a question here. Red Oxtail is saying, if it wasn't for the only black teacher in my primary school telling my mum to stand firm when the school wanted me out, I was slower than the rest of them, hidden agendas.
Yeah, that's just what. See, that was the agenda back then. Black children are disruptive. They're boisterous. They can't learn. And they're not realizing especially if you came from a culture in Jamaica where children are like that, but they can learn in Jamaica. Why they're not learning here? Cultural differences.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, I got a test for dyslexia when I finished my degree in 2005. The guy says I'm mildly dyslexic. So hang on a minute, I went to a special school for 10 years with no curriculum. And I said, this doesn't sound right. I spoke to him a few years ago, and he said, if you tested me at 16, I would have been
Mm,
severely dyslexic. Some of the questions he's asking me in the test in 2005, like a fraction, I knew what a fraction was. I knew what he was asking me because I just studied that. He said,
mm,
no one ever gets it. No one ever gets it right. I said, well, because I just studied it. I was doing remedial maths for a long time. So
mm,
if you asked me that at 16, I wouldn't have known any of it. I wouldn't be
mm.
able to spell, wouldn't be able to write. So I would have been severely dyslexic. In a school with no curriculum, obviously, you would present like that.
Of
Even the
course,
testing, yeah,
your mind is when you're young. Your mind is a sponge, and you're waiting for the information and to learn. But if you're not being given anything, how can it take it in? How can it learn?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
So Janet is saying that word was banned around back in the day. Bandied around back in the day, yeah. Oh, you got a couple of things here. Yashiba saying listening and taking in this inspiring and formidable man's journey. Congratulations. Magman is saying, for me, dyslexia is the brain forming words before they are fully processed. So it creates a word blindness. Interesting.
Mm. Well, that's what they say. But the thing is, if you don't educate the child's not going to know. We weren't taught how to write, spell, even our times table we weren't taught. So you would present as having some sort of learning difficulty if you're not taught these things.
Of course.
And they didn't take that into consideration. There was no testing back then. If you're unless you're middle class,
I
you had
mean,
the money.
it's unbelievable to actually. I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom that for somebody who's worked in a school for children with special educational needs and a mainstream school with children with special educational needs, where they are tested, you are treated the same. Obviously, you you'll have tools and resources that are specific to that child and the needs they may
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're having a yellow background or a reader for children who are dyslexic. Give a child or a person the tool or the resource that is made to help them. You can thrive just as much as any child. It angers me so much. But I know we want to move on. There's quite a few people now here with some things here. Joanna saying, yeah, it was commonly used, but we didn't think how it affected people. My mother refused to send one of my brothers to a special school. He left school at 16 with a few CSEs, but went back in uni in his 30s and is now a qualified engineer. Well, actually, you're also qualified as an engineer as well?
yeah. I did City and Guilds.
Mm-hmm.
I worked as a labourer when I left school. I was doing
Mm-hmm.
City and Guilds in the evenings. So my first qualification was City and Guilds Maths, 1988. I was 22. I was studying 224. It's called 224 City and Guilds TV and radio servicing. I worked a 4-day week, and on a Friday I got to college to do that. Eventually, I got on a YTS scheme, a TV
Mm-hmm.
company, and that went down. Then I moved to London. I got a job in NHS as a biomedical engineer. And I was by the time I'm 25, I'm fully qualified City and Guilds, doing mechanical electronic engineering work. But
That's
again, there's a lot of racism. I was there for 4 years and I complained about the racism. I said, oh, we know about him. The man is proper racist. I was there working one day and I heard him say, down with the niggers. And I'm thinking, did you just say that?
oh
Keep your
wow.
mouth shut. Yeah, it was proper racist. Yeah, he used to refer to the black staff as niggers all the time. And he gets frustrated. When he's frustrated with the job, he take it out on me. And I just got so bad I had to complain. Still, we
Mm.
know about him. And the new line manager comes in and sacks me on the spot and calls it redundancy.
Oh
That's when I
wow.
went, that's when I started studying. I thought I'll go to university, get out of the workshop mentality. I had other problems then because I pushed myself too hard. Because of my sickle cell, I had a problem with my femur, I had a crisis. And normally I rest and get over it. Because I was studying, I thought I'd just take the weight off it, so not walk on it so much. They gave me crutches. And I went for an x-ray, no problem. Got a place at City University, passed my access course with flying colours. And in 3 months, and I start walking with a limp. I thought, this don't feel right. So I went back for an x-ray. He said, you've got no cartilage left. You need a hip replacement. I was about 28, I think. It took me 7 years, so I dropped out. Then I had to have the hip done. Went back and did another access course. Didn't feel right. I dropped out of that. And I ended up doing the last one at City Islington College. From there, I went to Brunel. That took me 3 years there.
No.
Yeah. So it's just a struggle because this system, they don't really care about us. That's why we have to fight so hard, especially if you've got sickle cell.
Just so people who don't know what sickle cell is, it's when your blood cells are shaped like a sickle, so it's a C shape, and then sometimes they can clamp together, causing a crisis. Do you want to just explain briefly to the audience a little bit about that? You may not know at all.
Yeah, because my parents are both carriers. They both carry the gene.
Me
So
too.
they both carriers. And the problem is they're both carriers. A 1 in 4 chance that the child will come out with the full sickle cell SS. There's 9 of us, so it could have been 2 of us that got it, but only 1. So I'm full SS. I've got both genes from my parents. So I have full sickle cell. And what that means is my body can't carry enough oxygen, and the cells are shaped like sickles. They're shaped like that. So when the other cells trying to get through, they block them. So they can't get through, and it causes a clot in the small veins, and that causes a lot of pain, and it affects the joints and the organs. So I'm going to be 60 in March. So I've not done
No
that bad.
way, 60. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're
And
a bit
I've had both my hips replaced. And I think 5 years ago, I had my left shoulder. I was on crutches for 3 years, but they never told me soon enough, don't be on crutches too long. They didn't monitor it. They didn't monitor the situation. I live in London. I'm at North Middlesex Hospital. The doctors see a lot of people with sickle cell, and they treat us all the same. We're a bunch of criminals there.
Well, you obviously have gone through a lot in your life, and you're inspiring young people with your book. Not just one book, you've got 2 books. But let's talk about your book now, because we're 26 minutes in and we haven't seen the cover of your book. So can you share a little bit about your book, please?
Okay, so this is called Alithia and a Dreamcatcher.
Brilliant. And what's the book about?
So it's based on my daughter called Alithia, and it's her bedtime. She's got a dream catcher above her bed. So her mum says to her, "What dream would you like to have? Make a wish." So she says, "I wish I could go to North America to meet the animals." You see that?
It's beautifully illustrated by Jason Lee as well. We'll give him a bit of a shout out, Jason Lee.
Yeah. So my son done all the drawings in it, and Jason illustrated them. This is drawn by my son. All the drawings. From a young age, his mum taught him to draw. It's like he loves drawing. He's done A-level art, so I asked him to do drawings for me, which he's done in about 5 minutes. And the Dreamcatcher story came from the other story, Jake's Alien Adventures. So they had a Dreamcatcher in that one, and Jake couldn't play outside because he had a toothache. So his mum says maybe the Dreamcatcher will find a song to play with at bedtime. So he goes to sleep, and the Dreamcatcher comes alive, catches his dream, and sends it to a lonely alien on Woo-Woo. Sorry, a lonely alien called Woo-Woo, who lives on planet Venus. So Woo-Woo catches his dream and comes back to Earth in his spaceship and takes him on an adventure back to his home, but passing through the Milky Way. So that's where the Dreamcatcher idea came from. And yeah, one of my teachers at City Lit, all the writers there are published authors. I did some classes there. I've also got a diploma in creative writing from Birkbeck. So when I went to City Lit, I was writing this story, and one of my teachers said, "You've got 2 stories. You've got too much going on. You've got the Dreamcatcher, and you've got the alien." So it took me a little while to get my head around it, and I realised, I'll take out the Dreamcatcher and just leave the alien. So I've got 2 separate stories now. So that's how that story came about.
Brilliant. So do you think you're like quite creative, like similar to me? Do you get like lots of creative ideas that kind of take off?
Lots. And I did the website as well. I created the website.
What's your website again? I'm going to put it in here.
It's just 3 W's. jakesalienadventures.com. Do I have access to the chat as well?
I'm not sure. I'm typing it in there for you, and I'm going to highlight here. Somebody else is agreeing with you about the hospital, but let's stay off that. Jake's alienadventures.com. There you go. So check it out. You can actually buy a copy of that book, as well as Alithia and the Dreamcatcher as well. So you've got 2 children's books out. Do you have any plans for any more? What's your plans moving forward? Animated series, maybe?
This first one, Alithia goes to North America. The actual first story was she goes to Africa, not North America.
Okay.
So the other one in the series, she goes to North America. She goes to Africa in the second story. Yeah. In the third story, she goes to the North Pole.
Ooh.
To meet animals in the North Pole. So the African one, I like the African story because it's got all these different African animals, like what do you call it? not a giraffe, isn't it? A giraffe. There's a camel in the first story. Camel.
Oh, okay.
There's an ostrich. There's a lion, and I think there's different animals she meets on her journey. Like
Okay.
like in this one, where she meets all these different animals and
I love
yeah.
I love that. And would you say, do you have like a message around dreams and animals? Do you have any, like, what would you say your main message of your book is?
Well, I suppose children should dream. The idea
Mm,
about the dream is that they can takes them out of their world into a world that they can create for themselves. They can go on an
yeah,
adventure.
I love that.
Yeah, but it has different layers to it. So it has different layers. Like she said, they could learn different. You can learn different things from each animal. But it's like when I started writing a story, I kind of layer it. Basic story is that she wants to get to North America. The Dreamcatcher takes her to North America, and the buffalo takes her a certain way, but you can't climb mountains. So bald eagle comes in, helps her fly over the mountains. So the next layer could be having a conversation with the animals and them
Mm,
giving her like guidance and stuff, life stories type of stuff. But I suppose the basic elements there, the basic foundation is there for that particular
yeah.
story.
But you know what I love about now that you were saying that with Alithia and the Dreamcatcher, they don't have that conversation, but they each take them as far as they can. And it's
Yeah,
almost like a message about, if you look at different layers of teamwork, you know, one person might be able to
yeah,
do one thing, or one
yeah,
animal might
exactly.
be able to do one thing, then another animal can take you in another way. And I really like that idea of that as well. Um, hmm.
Yeah, it can work in different. Yeah, it works it's quite a few ways it can work, and you
Hmm.
can give different messages to children.
Yeah, and people will read it in a different way. So do you go
Yeah,
into schools and do author talks and motivational speaking?
yeah.
Yeah.
When I done Jake's Own Adventures, I went to a few schools. One of the schools bought Lancasterian here in Tottenham. So I knew one of the teachers there. They bought 7 copies.
Oh,
I've
wow.
also got I had a puzzle to go with it as well. They bought the puzzle.
Oh,
I found the
fantastic.
puzzle was too expensive to make, so I have to rethink the puzzle. It was just too expensive to make. I can show you the puzzle. Hang on a minute. I'll show you the box for it.
Okay. I know one of our authors, Sarah Keto, has a puzzle as well. So maybe we'll ask. Let's have a look.
Let's see that.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of the.
I
That's
love
the.
that. I loved it. I loved doing puzzles as a kid. I'd spend like reading and puzzles and drawing and writing poems. Absolutely
Yeah.
loved.
So it's like a different level of interaction.
Yeah, I
So
love it.
helping. Some children not necessarily verbal, but they do things quietly. Because I was quite introvert when I was in school.
Mm,
I just didn't get that input. So it's giving that child that inner self belief that they can do stuff,
yeah, I
and
love
giving them
it.
the tools to do it.
I love it. And your story, you know, from start to finish is an inspirational one, you know. Lee's saying impressive, fantastic. So now what is your dream?
Yeah,
Sorry, just putting that out there. That is, what is your
okay.
dream? I just want to know.
So I want to develop the website more, so I've got more interactive games on it,
Hmm.
and I'm working on another story, like a middle grade story.
Hmm.
I've been on that for a while now, and I want to get that one. I might try and find an agent for that one,
Hmm.
for that particular story. It's a fantasy story about 2 boys. One's autistic, one's dyslexic,
Okay.
and they have special powers, that sort of stuff. And my imagination takes me down that route, so I'm able to write that sort of stuff.
I'd definitely love to read it. Let's see some fire emojis, please, or the clicky emojis. I don't know what you call it. Who would like to read that book? A book about 2 boys, one who's dyslexic, one who's autistic.
Just they're cousins, yeah, and they're
And
both black. They're both black heritage.
fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward. Can you share a title, or is that you're gonna keep that under wraps?
It's called Lucas. Well, it's called Thomas, Jimmy, and the Pharaoh.
Okay, Tommy, Jimmy, and the Pharaoh. You heard it
Yeah,
here first.
yeah,
Um,
Thomas. I'm
Thomas,
still experimenting with the names.
Thomas. Just a few more questions before we wrap up, guys. If you've got any questions, because I can keep going, I've got some more questions. Please throw them out because we're going to end in a few minutes. But so we have an idea of your dream. Then, what does resilience mean to you? Because when I speak to you, I feel like there's a real strong sense of resilience, and it's something that not everybody has, and something that I think probably comes through having a lot of adversity. So what does resilience mean to you?
I've got this fire that burns inside because they put me through so much stuff. If I didn't have to go through all that, life would have been so much easier.
Mm.
I mean, when I worked in NHS. If I just had to play the game a bit better, or if there was just a bit more fairer, I could be looking at early retirement if I wanted to. I could be sorted today. So the resilience comes from not letting people push me about. I had that growing up, being bullied as well by teachers. So I
Mm.
realised, well, look, there's no point letting them walk over you. If they want to do that, you got to kind of say, well, look, you can't. Look, this is the way it goes, not the way you want it to go. Let's be fair about it and be even. Resilience is just bouncing back, looking for
Yeah.
different ways of overcoming stuff. So I know with us, right? I know we like to shout and carry on bad sometimes because it's a black man's story. And some of my friends, right, the amount of jobs they've actually got sacked because they knocked somebody out because they're not taking it no more. Whereas if they was a bit more humble and said, well, hang on a minute, let me play the game. Let me see if I can get through this.
Mm.
And that's something I've had to learn along the way. But I'm introvert anyway. I don't really go out my way to trouble anybody. But what I've
Yeah.
realised with this with the system, they always take advantage. Always. We had a public debate, a live debate last year, and they denounced a public inquiry. And a few months later, they're giving white working class children on free school meals and independent inquiry to reasons why they're falling
I
behind.
remember you said that.
But forgetting a black group. What about there's lots of black children stuck in proofs. It's another struggle we're fighting. It's a campaign that I'm running. I'm hoping to have the petition out again for the fourth time. But this time around, I need to get at least 10,000 signatures. I'm aiming for 100,000. The MPs are supporting us.
Where can people find you then, where they can actually find out about this and support?
The petition's not out yet, but I'll try and put a link on my website.
Okay.
But you can link me on
Okay.
on TikTok. I'll
TikTok.
give you the
What's your
yeah.
handle?
And I've got a card here somewhere. Hang on. It's Noel
So, do you know what? I'll put it in afterwards. If you're watching, if you're watching on Facebook, I've tagged Noel in the top. Noel Gordon. If you head over to his website, www.jakesalienadventures.com, hopefully you'll have your social media info there. Also on TikTok, Noel Gordon
251.
251. There you go.
Yeah.
Noel Gordon 251. Okay, on TikTok. And you can find out about that petition. So I've got from you that resilience is really about keeping that fire alive inside of you to keep pushing forwards and standing up for what you believe is right, standing up against injustice, also knowing when to play the game.
Yeah, just play the game.
I think that's a really powerful answer.
Well, do you know it was the headmistress. I went to a talk down there, and she said, "You just got to learn to play the game. Just learn to play the game." David Lammy plays a good game. Look at him now as a deputy prime minister. He's my MP, David Lammy.
Is he?
Yeah, bloody useless.
So, I very forget my question now. I forgot my question. This is it. Yeah. I want you to imagine now that there was a young person in front of you, and maybe they're dyslexic, maybe they've been told that they feel they're not good enough, or maybe they feel like they've been written off, and they have got a fantastic idea. It might be a business, it might be to write a book, it might be to invent something, but they don't know whether they're good enough to do it. What would you say to that child?
I would say do it anyway, because that's just someone that's. It's like Les Brown says, don't become somebody's opinion. Don't become someone else's opinion. You've got your own opinion. You've got your own path to walk. You've got a gift. You've got a talent. The Creator gave us all a gift, all a talent.
Sure.
It's just that the way the system's structured. How comes the rich don't have this problem? They send their children to Eton, Oxford, and Cambridge. Just because you go into a state school, you're not going to have the same resources, the same input, but you're just as valuable as they are. Sometimes even better. You can look at the Prime Minister now. He seems to get himself in all sorts of trouble. The same with all of them, all sorts of problems. So if you're thinking of doing something, just do it, because life's too short, and you never know, you might be good at it. It's something you probably the best person to do it, because only you can do what you want to do, what you were designed to do.
Perfect. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Noel. I really hope your words travel far and wide. I think so many young people need to hear this, and so many adults too who are dealing with trauma of being told they're not good enough, bullied, whether it's by an individual or by the system, who may be suffering still from the effects of that. Just, I think just keep going and just keep being an example to everybody that you can do it, and it is worth fighting for justice and proving everybody wrong, or more so just proving to yourself that you can do all the things that you dream of.
Yeah, it's not about everyone else, it's about you.
Yeah.
It's competing against yourself.
Yeah.
Because others will have their own opinions. It's subjective. They all have different opinions of you, but it's the opinion you have of yourself is the most important one.
There you go. The opinion you have of yourself is the most important one. I love that. Thank you so much, Noel. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Let's see your book cover again. Hold your book up for us. Please go and get a copy of this book, Alithia and the Dreamcatcher, written by Noel. You can get it if you're watching on Facebook in the link above, on YouTube in the link below, on LinkedIn somewhere in between. Have a beautiful day, people. I'm going to be off for the rest of February. So Noel was the first person I've interviewed in 2026, and I'll be back in March. So this was a special show just for the beginning of 2026. I'll be back in March for my next interview. So thank you everybody for joining. Red Oxtail says good luck with the book. Joanna says all the best with your book. Lee says take care. Thank you everybody for watching. See you on the 5th of March? I think the 5th of March, where I'll be interviewing the awesome and amazing Elijah, who's written a book called Pearl and the Secret Time Machine, which takes her through a journey of black hairstyles from the afro to the, do you know what? You need to read it. It's a fantastic book, and it will be out on the 26th of February. Have a beautiful evening, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you later. Check me out.